My beloved child, before this message ends, something hidden from you for years will finally be exposed. They tried to bury your name in silence, but tonight I am pulling you into the light. Do not scroll away from this moment. Do not treat this as another ordinary message passing before your eyes. I brought you here intentionally because heaven has decided that your season of confusion, rejection, and hidden pain cannot continue any longer. I know how many nights you sat alone wondering why everything became so quiet around you. I saw the moments when you questioned your worth because doors kept closing, people kept leaving, and opportunities kept disappearing before your eyes. But listen carefully now, because what looked like abandonment was actually protection. What looked like delay was my hand preserving your future from people who secretly wanted access to your destiny without honoring your heart. You thought I forgot about you, but I was standing between you and battles you never even knew existed. While you were crying in silence, I was fighting in secret places. While you were asking why life became so heavy, I was removing traps that would have destroyed you before your appointed time arrived. Tonight, I am opening your eyes to the truth. You were never ignored. You were hidden under my covering while I prepared a public reversal that nobody saw coming. My child, what they thought was your ending is about to become the proof of my power. I broke every chain around your destiny before you even pressed play on this message. The people who underestimated you only saw your struggle, but they never saw my hand resting upon your life. They saw you delayed, but they did not see me preparing. They saw you isolated, but they did not understand I was separating you from voices that would poison your spirit. Some people smiled in front of you while secretly hoping you would fail. Some prayed for your downfall while pretending to support your journey. But I heard every conversation spoken behind closed doors. I saw every hidden betrayal. I saw every moment they laughed at your weakness, every time they doubted your future, every time they assumed your tears meant defeat. Yet none of it stopped the plan I wrote for your life before you were born. My beloved, I need you to understand something tonight. The enemy attacked you so fiercely because there is something valuable inside you. Darkness does not fight empty vessels. Hell does not waste energy on people with no purpose. The pressure you survived was proof that heaven placed greatness within you long ago. And now the season is changing. The hidden warfare around your destiny is being exposed. The chains are breaking. The silence is ending. A weight that sat on your chest for so long is finally lifting. You kept asking me why everything became so quiet. You wondered why the people you love suddenly became distant. You questioned why your prayers seemed unanswered. You looked around and saw others moving ahead while you remained stuck in a painful waiting season. But my child, I was never absent from your life. I was moving pieces into place that your human eyes could not yet understand. There were rooms I entered before you arrived. There were conversations I interrupted before they could damage your future. There were attacks I blocked while you slept at night. I silenced voices that spoke against your name. I closed the mouths of those who wanted to destroy your confidence. I redirected paths that would have led you into heartbreak, manipulation, and destruction. You saw disappointment, but I saw danger. You saw rejection, but I saw protection. You saw delay, but I saw divine timing. Tonight I am pulling back the curtain so you can finally understand why nothing managed to destroy you. The fact that you survived everything that came against you is not luck. It is evidence that my hand has been carrying you from the very beginning. Someone worked hard to close doors in your life, but they forgot who walks before you. I've already entered the room before your enemies arrived. I stood before every obstacle. I went ahead of every attack. I was already fighting for you while you were still crying over what you lost. My beloved child, there were moments when you almost gave up completely. There were nights when exhaustion wrapped around your spirit and you felt too tired to continue believing. You smiled in front of people while secretly breaking inside. You kept carrying responsibilities while silently asking me how much longer you could survive this pressure. But even then, I never left you alone. I was strengthening you in ways you could not feel. I was teaching your spirit how to survive storms that would have destroyed the old version of you. The tears you cried were not wasted. The loneliness was not meaningless. The silence was not punishment. I was preparing you for a level of favor that requires strength, wisdom, and spiritual maturity. I could not allow you to step into your next season carrying the same dependence on people who repeatedly wounded your spirit. So I allowed separation. I allowed silence. I allowed hidden battles because I was transforming you into someone stronger than your pain. Say, I rest deeply in your promises if you're clinging to every word he has spoken. Tonight is not ordinary. The season of crying in silence is ending forever. What I reveal to you now will shock everyone who doubted you. The same people who assumed your story was over will witness me restoring everything they thought was lost. I am about to bring light into places that remained hidden for years. What was buried in darkness will no longer stay hidden. I am exposing lies. I am revealing truth. I am lifting the weight of false accusations and hidden manipulation from your life. My child, I know how deeply betrayal wounded your heart. I know there were moments you questioned your own value because of how others treated you. But hear me clearly now. Their rejection never defined your identity. Their opinions never had authority over your destiny. I called you chosen long before they called you forgotten. I called you loved long before they made you feel unwanted. I called you worthy long before they tried to convince you that you were not enough. And now heaven is responding to every tear you shed in secret. I am restoring confidence where fear once lived. I am restoring peace where anxiety once ruled. I am restoring strength where exhaustion almost consumed you. My beloved child, they underestimated the favor resting on your life. They thought isolation would weaken you, but I used it to prepare your elevation. The hidden season you hated was actually sacred preparation. While others were distracted by noise, popularity, and appearances, I was developing depth inside your spirit. I was teaching you how to hear my voice without depending on human validation. I was teaching you how to survive disappointment without losing your faith. I was teaching you how to walk through darkness while still believing in my promises. You thought you were buried, but you were planted. Seeds disappear into darkness before they rise into purpose. And now your season of rising has begun. The waiting season is breaking. The overlooked season is ending. The season where people ignored your value is permanently closing tonight. I am pulling you into the light, and nobody will be able to stop what I have already declared over your future. Do not skip this moment, my child. The breakthrough attached to these words was released in heaven before you even found this message. There is a reason your spirit feels this deeply. There is a reason tears are filling your eyes while you listen. It is because your soul recognizes my voice calling you into a new chapter. You are not crazy for believing that something is shifting. You are not weak for feeling emotional right now. This is the moment where heaviness begins leaving your spirit. This is the moment where confusion starts breaking apart. This is the moment where hope returns after such a long season of disappointment. I am restoring what fear tried to steal from you. I am rebuilding what betrayal tried to destroy inside your heart. And most importantly, I am reminding you who you truly are. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible. You are mine. And no darkness, no betrayal, no delay, and no opposition can cancel what heaven already decided about your life before the foundation of the world. My beloved child, stop what you are doing and listen to me carefully, because this moment is not an accident. Before this message found you, heaven had already decided that tonight would become a turning point in your life. I did not allow these words to reach your eyes by coincidence. I guided you here intentionally because there are things hidden from you for years that I am now preparing to expose in full light. Stay with me now. Do not scroll away. Do not allow distraction to steal what I am about to place into your spirit. There is a reason your heart feels restless while listening to this. There is a reason your soul suddenly feels alert. It is because my presence is surrounding you even now, and I am speaking directly into the deepest wounded places inside you that nobody else truly understands. My child, you have cried silently for so long. You carried burdens you never spoke about openly. You smiled around people while secretly fighting exhaustion, disappointment, confusion, and emotional pain that almost broke your spirit. But tonight I am interrupting your sadness with truth. I am interrupting your fear with revelation. I am interrupting your isolation with my voice. And before this message ends, you will understand why nothing managed to destroy you even after everything that came against your life. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. Do not skip these words, because this is not just another message. This is divine timing. This is a spiritual interruption sent directly from heaven into your current season. The enemy worked tirelessly to keep you from hearing this. Dark voices tried to bury your confidence. They tried to convince you that you were forgotten, abandoned, delayed, and permanently overlooked. Some people secretly celebrated your struggles because they believed your suffering would become your ending. They watched your silence and assumed I had left you behind. They watched your tears and thought your future had collapsed. But they were wrong. Completely wrong. My child, while they underestimated you, they also underestimated me. They did not know I was standing beside you in every painful moment. They did not know I was preserving your mind during nights when anxiety tried to consume you. They did not know I was protecting your future while unseen battles surrounded your destiny. Even when you felt weak, even when you questioned your purpose, even when you thought your prayers were disappearing into silence, I was still moving heaven and earth on your behalf. I was already fighting for you while you were still trying to survive the weight pressing against your spirit. Listen closely now, because what I reveal tonight will change the way you understand your entire journey. You kept asking why everything became so quiet around you. You wondered why doors suddenly closed. You questioned why certain people walked away without explanation. You asked me why life became so heavy when all you wanted was peace. But my beloved child, there were hidden battles taking place around your future that your human eyes could not see. There were voices speaking against your name behind closed doors. There were people smiling in front of you while secretly hoping your progress would stop. There were spiritual attacks assigned against your confidence, your purpose, your peace, and your destiny. But hear me clearly tonight. None of it escaped my sight. I saw every betrayal before it happened. I heard every word whispered against you in secret. I watched every hidden scheme designed to discourage your spirit. And before those attacks could fully reach you, I stepped in. I blocked what you never saw. I silenced what would have destroyed your peace. I closed doors that looked promising because danger was hiding behind them. You called it disappointment, but I called it protection. You called it delay, but I called it preservation. You called it rejection, but I was actually redirecting your life away from destruction you never knew existed. My child, heaven urgently pushed this message toward you because your season is changing tonight. The chapter of constantly feeling overlooked is ending. The season where your tears remained hidden is closing forever. I know there were moments when you felt invisible. Moments when you questioned if your life truly mattered. Moments when you wondered why others seemed celebrated while you remained forgotten in silence. But I need you to understand something with all your heart tonight. I never overlooked you for a single second. While others ignored your value, I was preparing your elevation. While others doubted your future, I was building your strength in hidden places. Isolation was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing you. The silence was not abandonment. It was sacred preparation. I pulled you away from certain people because they could not go where I am taking you next. I allowed uncomfortable separation because your spirit could not continue growing in environments filled with hidden jealousy, manipulation, and emotional confusion. You thought you were losing people, but I was actually protecting your destiny from hands that secretly wanted control over your future. Tonight is not ordinary, my beloved child. Something massive is shifting in the unseen realm around your life right now. You can feel it deep inside your spirit even if you cannot fully explain it yet. The heaviness that followed you for so long is beginning to break. The confusion is beginning to clear. The emotional chains that wrapped around your mind are losing their power tonight. I am exposing darkness with my light. What was hidden is being revealed. What was stolen is being restored. What was delayed is beginning to move again. The enemy wanted you exhausted because he feared what would happen if you ever fully realized who you are in me. He wanted you distracted by pain so you would forget the authority resting over your life. But tonight I am waking your spirit up again. Tonight I am reminding you that your story did not end in failure. Your story did not end in heartbreak. Your story did not end in disappointment. The reason you survived every attack is because my hand never left you. I preserved you when your strength disappeared. I carried you when your heart became tired. I protected your purpose when darkness tried to bury it beneath fear and emotional exhaustion. Do not leave this message unfinished, my child, because the breakthrough attached to these words was prepared long before this moment arrived. I know there is a part of you that still struggles to believe something good can finally happen for you. After everything you endured, disappointment trained your heart to expect more pain. You became cautious with hope because too many things collapsed unexpectedly in your life. But tonight I am healing the broken expectation inside you. I am restoring your ability to believe again. I am reminding your soul that I still have plans for your future. This is why the enemy fought so hard to keep you emotionally drained. He knew what was coming. He knew heaven was preparing a reversal that would shock everyone who doubted you. He knew I was about to expose what was hidden and restore what was damaged. He knew your season of crying in silence was almost over. And now the truth can no longer stay buried. My beloved child, before this message ends, I need you to hear me with complete clarity. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible to heaven. Every tear you cried was seen by me. Every silent prayer reached me. Every sleepless night was witnessed by my presence standing beside you. Even when nobody checked on you, I stayed close. Even when your heart broke in silence, I listened. Even when your faith became weak, I continued fighting for your future. And now I am calling you into a new season. A season where hidden things come into the light. A season where your voice returns. A season where peace replaces fear. A season where confidence rises again inside your spirit. A season where doors begin opening that nobody can shut. Stay with me now. Do not turn away from this moment. Because what begins tonight will become the evidence that I was with you all along. My beloved child, I need you to quiet every distraction around you right now and listen closely, because what I am about to reveal is something you have carried in your spirit for a very long time without fully understanding it. You kept asking yourself why certain people suddenly changed toward you. You wondered why some relationships began to feel heavy, uncomfortable, and confusing even when you were trying your best to keep peace. You questioned why environments that once felt safe slowly became places where your spirit felt drained, anxious, and unseen. There were moments when you blamed yourself for everything. You replayed conversations in your mind wondering if you said the wrong thing, if you trusted too much, if your kindness somehow became your weakness. But my child, tonight I need you to hear the truth clearly. I saw everything they did in secret. Nothing escaped my eyes. Not one hidden conversation. Not one silent betrayal. Not one jealous thought whispered behind your back. Not one tear that rolled down your face after people smiled in front of you and wounded you behind closed doors. I saw all of it, even when you were too exhausted to understand what was happening around you. There were people who celebrated your pain in silence while pretending to support your journey publicly. They smiled at your face while secretly hoping your progress would stop. They listened to your dreams while quietly doubting your future. Some even pretended to pray for you while carrying hidden envy inside their hearts. You felt the shift but could not explain it. You noticed the coldness. You sensed the distance. You felt something changing around you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, but because your heart was pure, you kept trying to see the good in everyone. My beloved child, your kindness made you ignore warning signs for too long. Your love made you excuse behavior that wounded your spirit repeatedly. But heaven saw what your human eyes could not fully understand. There were spiritual attacks assigned against your peace. There were people being influenced by darkness to discourage you, delay you, distract you, and emotionally drain you before your breakthrough arrived. The enemy understood your value long before you fully recognized it yourself. That is why the attacks became so personal. That is why the betrayal hurt so deeply. Darkness often hides behind familiar faces because pain cuts deeper when it comes from people you trusted. I saw every moment when manipulation surrounded your life. I saw the way certain people twisted your words to make you question yourself. I saw how they slowly chipped away at your confidence while pretending to care about you. I saw how some individuals enjoyed watching you struggle emotionally because your pain made them feel more powerful. They did not want you healed because your healing would expose their behavior. They did not want you confident because your confidence would reveal their insecurity. My child, there were even moments when gossip surrounded your name without your knowledge. Conversations took place in rooms you never entered. Lies were spoken by people who never truly understood your heart. Some smiled with you during the day and criticized you in secret at night. Some acted loyal publicly while privately hoping your opportunities would disappear. But hear me clearly tonight, not one word spoken against you escaped Kevin's attention. Every hidden motive was seen. Every act of silent sabotage was witnessed. Every jealous spirit operating behind the scenes was exposed before my eyes long before you ever realized what was happening. My beloved child, I know how lonely this season became for you. I know there were nights when confusion sat heavily on your chest and you could not understand why your spirit suddenly felt so tired around certain people. You kept trying to fix relationships that were already poisoned by hidden envy and spiritual darkness. You blamed yourself for disconnections I was actually allowing for your protection. You cried quietly because you could not explain your pain to anyone without sounding dramatic or misunderstood. Some wounds were so deep you stopped talking about them altogether. You learned how to smile while carrying heartbreak privately. You learned how to continue functioning while emotionally exhausted inside. You became skilled at hiding your sadness because too many people failed to understand your sensitivity. But my child, every tear you cried was witnessed by me. Every sleepless night where anxiety kept your mind racing was seen by heaven. Every time you stared at the ceiling asking why people suddenly changed toward you, I was there beside you listening carefully to every silent prayer your exhausted spirit released. I saw the nights you cried yourself to sleep after pretending all day that you were fine. I saw the moments you checked your phone hoping someone would finally care enough to ask if you were okay. I saw how disappointment slowly exhausted your heart. I saw how rejection made you question your worth. I saw how emotional betrayal made you become quieter, more cautious, and more guarded with your love. My child, you were carrying pain nobody fully understood. People saw your silence but did not recognize the battle happening inside your mind. They saw your distance but did not realize how deeply wounded your spirit had become. Some even called you difficult simply because you became tired of constantly surviving emotional attacks while pretending everything was normal. But I understood your exhaustion completely. I understood the heaviness you carried behind your smile. I understood why your energy disappeared. I understood why your trust became fragile. And through every moment of loneliness, I stayed beside you even when you could not feel my presence clearly. There were times when you thought I was silent while all this was happening. You wondered why I allowed betrayal to touch your life. You questioned why I did not immediately expose those who secretly wounded you. But my beloved child, heaven was collecting evidence while you suffered silently. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was forgotten. Every hidden action was being recorded before me. Every manipulative word, every jealous motive, every false smile, every attempt to spiritually sabotage your future was seen clearly in heaven long before the truth reached your understanding. You thought nobody noticed your suffering, but heaven watched every detail carefully. I was not absent. I was observing. I was protecting. I was preparing the moment when truth would finally rise into the light. Some people believed they could secretly damage your confidence without consequences. Some believed they could speak against your destiny while hiding behind false kindness. But darkness cannot remain hidden forever in the presence of my light. What was whispered in secret eventually reaches exposure. What was hidden beneath masks eventually becomes visible. My child, the reason these attacks affected you so deeply is because your heart was genuine. You loved sincerely. You trusted deeply. You gave chances repeatedly even after being hurt. And because your spirit carried purity, manipulation confused you. Betrayal shocked you. Hidden opposition wounded you more than you expected because you could not imagine treating others with the same cruelty they showed toward you. But do not mistake your softness for weakness. Your ability to love despite pain is not failure. It is proof that darkness did not completely harden your heart. And even though this season exhausted you emotionally, I was using every painful experience to sharpen your discernment. I was teaching your spirit how to recognize hidden motives without losing your compassion. I was teaching you how to protect your peace without becoming bitter. I was teaching you that not every smiling face carries pure intentions. Some people entered your life carrying hidden agendas tied to jealousy, control, competition, and insecurity. But I was already preparing your separation before their attacks could fully destroy your confidence. My beloved child, I need you to stop blaming yourself for everything that happened. You did not imagine the strange tension you felt. You were not overreacting to the shifts happening around you. Your spirit was sensing battles your mind could not yet explain. Heaven allowed you to feel discomfort because I was warning you that certain people could not be trusted with full access to your heart anymore. And although the separation hurt deeply, it was necessary for where I am taking you next. Some people were becoming obstacles to your peace without even realizing it themselves. Some relationships carried emotional darkness that would have delayed your healing, your confidence, and your destiny if I allowed them to continue unchanged. Comment, you are my guiding light, Jesus, if He led you out of the darkest night. Tonight, I want you to release the burden of trying to understand why everyone acted the way they did. Some betrayals were never about you personally. Some people attacked your spirit simply because your light exposed their inner darkness. Some became uncomfortable around your presence because heaven's favor resting on your life reminded them of what they lacked within themselves. But hear me clearly now, my child. None of their hidden actions canceled the plan I have for you. None of their gossip stopped your destiny. None of their silent sabotage removed my hand from your future. And even while you were crying quietly in confusion, heaven was already preparing restoration, exposure, and justice for every hidden wound you carried alone. My beloved child, I know there were many moments when you questioned my silence. You prayed with tears in your eyes, with faith trembling inside your chest, asking me why nothing seemed to move. You cried out for answers while days turned into months and months turned into seasons that felt endless. You watched doors remain closed. You watched opportunities disappear. You watched people walk away while heaven appeared quiet. And deep inside your heart, you began wondering if I still heard you at all. There were nights when disappointment wrapped itself around your spirit so heavily that even praying became exhausting. You repeated the same questions over and over again. Lord, where are you? Why is this taking so long? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving forward while I remain stuck in the same painful place? My child, I heard every one of those prayers. Not one cry escaped my attention. Not one tear disappeared unnoticed. But tonight I need you to understand something that will finally bring peace to the confusion you carried for so long. My silence was never abandonment. It was preparation. You thought I had stepped away from your life because the answers did not come immediately. But if only you could see the hidden battles taking place behind closed doors during those silent seasons, you would understand why I could not allow certain things to happen too quickly. There were spiritual attacks surrounding your destiny that your human eyes could not see. Darkness was studying your weaknesses, searching for openings, attempting to distract you before your breakthrough arrived. Some delays were not punishments. They were protection. Some closed doors were not rejection. They were rescue. Some relationships that collapsed were not losses. They were removals necessary for your survival. My beloved child, had I answered certain prayers too early, you would have walked directly into traps disguised as blessings. You would have trusted people who secretly carried jealousy toward your future. You would have entered situations that looked exciting at first but would have slowly drained your peace, your confidence, and your spirit. So I delayed certain things because I was protecting you from destruction hidden behind appearances. I know the waiting frustrated you. I know the silence hurt deeply because you wanted clarity while all you could see was uncertainty. But while you were asking me why nothing was happening, I was already fighting battles you never knew existed. There were conversations happening in secret about you. There were spiritual attacks sent against your mind. There were unseen forces trying to weaken your faith through exhaustion, confusion, disappointment, and emotional heaviness. The enemy wanted you to believe I abandoned you because he understood that hopelessness weakens the spirit. He wanted your trust to collapse before your breakthrough arrived. But I refused to let darkness destroy what heaven already declared over your life. That is why I kept you hidden for a season. That is why some plans suddenly failed. That is why some opportunities disappeared without explanation. Delay prevented destruction. Silence prevented disaster. Isolation prevented deeper wounds you were not prepared to survive. My child, there were moments when you almost walked into situations that would have broken you completely if I had not intervened quietly behind the scenes. You called some of those moments disappointment, but heaven called them deliverance. You mourned over things that ended, not realizing I was removing hidden danger from your path. There were people who appeared supportive while secretly carrying harmful intentions toward your future. There were places you desperately wanted access to that would have damaged your spirit slowly over time. There were relationships you begged me to preserve that would have eventually destroyed your peace from within. But because you could not yet see clearly, my protection often felt painful. My silence often felt confusing. My delays often felt cruel. Yet through every unanswered prayer, I was still guiding you away from unseen traps your heart was too vulnerable to recognize. I need you to hear this clearly tonight, my beloved child. Isolation was never your punishment. You were not abandoned because you failed me. You were not forgotten because you were unworthy. The hidden season you walked through was necessary preparation for the next chapter of your life. I pulled you away from certain environments because too much noise was surrounding your spirit. You were carrying the opinions of too many people. You were constantly trying to keep peace while silently losing yourself emotionally. So I allowed separation because your spirit needed healing. I allowed silence because your soul needed cleansing. I allowed loneliness because I needed your attention away from distractions long enough for me to rebuild your inner strength. Gold is not refined in comfort. Gold is purified through fire. And my beloved child, the fire you walked through was refining you, not destroying you. I know it did not feel beautiful while you were inside the process. Refining never feels gentle in the moment. There were days when exhaustion sat so heavily on your heart that even small tasks felt overwhelming. There were nights when loneliness became so loud you questioned whether anyone truly understood your pain. You watched other people celebrate while you quietly survived. You smiled publicly while privately carrying disappointment, confusion, and emotional fatigue that almost consumed your spirit. But every painful season was removing something from you that could not follow you into your future. I was burning away dependence on unhealthy validation. I was burning away fear of rejection. I was burning away emotional attachments that kept delaying your growth. I was strengthening parts of you that comfort could never develop. Endurance was being built inside your spirit. Discernment was growing quietly within you. Wisdom was forming through experiences that once felt meaningless. You kept asking me for immediate answers, but I was more focused on preparing your spirit than simply satisfying your emotions. If I had rushed the process, you would have entered your next season emotionally fragile, spiritually distracted, and easily manipulated by people carrying hidden motives. But now you are beginning to see differently. You notice things your old self ignored. You recognize energy your old self tolerated. You feel spiritual discomfort around environments that once seemed normal to you. This is not weakness. This is discernment being born through experience. The pain taught you what peace truly feels like. The betrayal taught you what genuine loyalty looks like. The silence taught you how to hear my voice more clearly without depending entirely on human reassurance. Everything you survived was building spiritual maturity inside you. Type "I trust" even in your silence, Lord, if you're waiting for unseen answers. And share this video.